everyone and welcome. As you've probably noticed, I redid my persona, and if you couldn't tell by the title, that ties into what I want to talk about in this video. Progress. If you have been with me or watched the art I posted on this channel for the past year and a half or so, you probably noticed a lot of experimentation and changes in not only art style and video editing, but several other things as well. In this video, I'll break down where I was, where I am now, and where I want to be in the near future. That way, no one is lost. So strap in folks, because I have an entire essay to spill out to you. When I first started, I was too afraid to even consider speaking on camera, minus the lack of a microphone, because I'm one to stutter, speak with many unnecessary pauses, and say things that make absolutely no sense regardless of how good it sounded in my head. The only reason I started to do voice recordings for my videos was because I couldn't explain certain things or convey certain feelings with just text, and so I now have a microphone. I'm still not the best at speaking to a microphone, but I gotta say it's better than what it was when I started. At least, I think so. I'm hoping to one day speak in the majority of my videos, or at least make it more common. I find that it helps with personal connection, knowing that I'm a person and not some robot, and it gives me a way to practice public speaking, which I am awful at. Like, really bad. So I hope that my voice isn't as grating to your ears as it is to mine. Before we continue on my essay, I just want to say, please like the video. It shows me that you really like what I'm doing and the effort I put into making these videos. Also, please subscribe. It shows me that you like my content so much that you intentionally decided to follow me, regardless of how much of a mess I might be. And if you want to, hit the bell to be notified whenever I post a new video. Alright, intermission over. The next point I want to bring up is the art itself. I don't know if you noticed, but for the past couple of weeks I have done a specific style. The arts are the only things that have color, and the important parts are very detailed. I typically use pencils for these parts, while the rest of the picture remains sketchy and loose. I use charcoal or pastel here. This is more or less the style I want to use for all my pieces. I have tried several different techniques like realism, or colorful, or more graphic, and I find that this kind of wraps all of those in one. So as of now, this is the style you will be getting from me, at least for the majority of my pictures. Let's finally get to my new persona. The first one, it's cute and it was what I was going to use for a really long time. But as I kept using it, I realized that it wasn't as expressive as I wanted it, and it was almost too simple for my liking. Don't get me wrong, I like simple characters, but even the characters I draw have actual hands and shading to them. One of the things I wanted to change most in this redesign was the eyes. Detail and color aside, the way they are drawn is reminiscent to how I actually draw characters, making my persona more connected to my art. And even though the shading and realism is minimal in comparison to many of my other pieces, it still looks like it belongs. Try fitting the old design in. It doesn't match as well. Going back to the eyes, in the old design, they don't change. It's the same expression on different poses. Poses certainly do a lot to sell a particular emotion, but in art, at least in my opinion, most of the emotion should be conveyed on the face. The old design had a neutral to happy expression the entire time, and I can guarantee I did not and do not feel calm and happy the entire time I'm recording. Facial expression shows a lot of how you feel, and even if the body doesn't change position, you can still see the emotion by just the shape and placement of the eyes and mouth. And maybe I'm being picky, but where is she looking? Space? The future? Past regrets that she now has to live with and now just has to smile away the uncomfortable interaction that is soon to be happening? I'm making stuff up now. Like, it's normal to look in different directions during a conversation, but you still need to do some eye contact, otherwise you appear uninterested or brain dead. I'm saying this because I hate eye contact, but my persona doesn't have to. So I made sure that she made eye contact in the redraw. And as an added bonus, I made her able to look in different directions. With all of this said, this is not the final persona design, it's just a step forward to where I want it to be. I already have some ideas on what it could look like. I actually thought of trying to do a live stream on how I design characters, if you're interested. There are a few things I want to work on first, so it's going to be a little bit until I actually do it. And this leads us to my last point. I mentioned wanting to try a live stream. Only last year I'd say no, awful idea. However, some of you might know that pretty recently I did my first collab on Art Fight in July. You could check it out after this video. But that event made me excited to do more like them, so you can expect to see more in the future. An entire personality change, am I right? Not only do I want to do more social engaging projects, I have done large solo projects, mainly for important events like Father's Day, and I want to do more outside of holidays. I'm currently working on one right now. I define a big project as an art piece that takes a few days to a couple weeks to complete. Digital art. So they will be sparse and far in between, but at least they aren't reserved just for events. I also want to say that I'm hoping to get into digital art more, so expect more of that in the future. When I first started, I only had one sketchbook that I wanted to draw in, and I knew discovery of liking to draw animals. Fun fact, I hated doing animals for years. I just could not get the fur or proportions to look right. That is until I got my first black sketchbook. Up to this point, I have only drawn on white paper, whether it was printer, watercolor, or in a sketchbook. Black paper took everything I knew about shading and drawing and literally inverted them. This was a huge challenge and forced me to look at shades very carefully. At the same time, it was calming. I didn't have to draw every shadow. The page did that for me. I only needed to focus on the brightest highlights and work on blending them out. This sparked my love of drawing animals because I didn't have to draw all of them. I just needed to do the eyes, part of the head, and maybe some details if necessary. My drawing speed and skill improved dramatically, and the fact that even my white paper drawings improved was exciting. It was around this time I officially started my channel, and what better way to begin my journey on the internet than to draw my new passion. And here we are, still drawing animals, still experimenting, and still learning. That's the joy of art.